You just hit play on 10-minute tech talks, business insights, and growth hacks for the time-crunched entrepreneur. I am Jonathan Kirsten with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and I have nearly 3 decades telling the stories of Pittsburgh's most successful tech companies and the women and men behind them. We bring you their knowledge, insights, and inspiration to help your company succeed in just 10 minutes, sometimes even less. Can a tech company built in rural West Virginia thrive while being fully remote for over 20 years now? If you're building a team, growing a business, or simply trying to lead with more purpose, this episode will shift how you think about culture, leadership, and doing business the right way, even when it's harder. We welcome Alex Reneman, the founder of Mountain Leverage. And if you don't know Mountain Leverage, it makes hands-free technology for warehouse workers and customers and leaders in the supply chain. You got to keep on listening to discover how a clear set of values can shape company culture across 70 plus remote employees. You can learn how to lead a profitable tech company that still puts human flourishing at its center, and get inspired by the wisdom and resilience of a founder who's proven the skeptics wrong for over 2 decades. Let's check out Alex Reneman's powerful story of building a values-driven, remote-first company that's thriving far from Silicon Valley. And if you got more time, click the link in the description to listen to his entire Tech Vibe Radio interview.
So if there's anything that you want people to take away from this conversation that we have, what are your key takeaways?
I think there's another thing for budding entrepreneurs or people running companies or teams or anything. You can do it the right way. It sometimes is harder and it might take longer or whatever, but it's more fulfilling and more rich. And you can do it the right way by spreading that flourishment throughout the communities that you're in and the networked communities that you're a part of. And I think that network effect, we miss that sometimes today when we're treating each other one way or another in organizations. That works out too. So I think you can do it. You can be a human and a business person at the same time. You can engage with a company and a partner and treat them like they're good people. It all can play out.
I just find this so much fun, and we think your passion is kind of contagious here, and we really appreciate your blast of positive vibes here on a Sunday morning. I'm just curious. We always like getting a little bit of advice just before we roll out of here today. You've done a heavy lift here, and you've done it running a remote company. I mean, any if you had any mentors along the way that have helped you, or that given you key advice, maybe you'd like to give to the next generation of an entrepreneur out there looking to build a company in not just Pittsburgh, but even in West Virginia, where you're building your company in Grafton?
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a great question. And advice is always dangerous and I'm always hesitant to give it, but there are so many mentors and so many resources along the way. And now there's just so much information for anybody. I would say, for me, it's focusing on flourishment. When I focus on flourishment as a baseline for anybody I'm engaging with, whether it's a competitor or it's a customer or a partner or my employees or anybody, when I'm focusing on flourishment, I end up getting to the right outcome. And as opposed to running some kind of scheme or trick or these next 5 things or whatever else that you see online, that stuff would just distract you. Focus on flourishment and the rest works its way out.
These are some great
Flourish.
words. Yeah.
Thank you. You've been remote for 20 years.
Yep. Remote from day one. I needed people and I couldn't find them in my neighborhood. So I had to go elsewhere to get them. And there we go.
So before we jump into some deep tech conversations, tell me, how do you keep a culture of 70 to 80 people that are remote?
Yeah, that's tough. I'll tell you, when COVID hit and everybody had to go remote, I almost thought, I should probably write a book and share this out.
You should have written a book.
Situation. I've been doing it before the tools were there. And, obviously COVID was terrible and all that, but a silver lining was a lot of these video tools, they improved. And so we were able to do even better. But I think that's one of the biggest challenges. So training people and inculcating them into the culture and all of that. So early on, and I'd say you're almost midway, really figured out we had to codify our culture. When we were small, you could have conversations, you can engage, you know, things and get it. But really, we had to really lay out what our culture was. And so culture is the most important thing for me and our company, because it not only impacts who we are and how we're treated, but it impacts how we engage our customers and how we engage partners, how we engage the world as a whole. So I think, we really revisit our culture constantly. We talk about it all the time, and it's not just words on a wall. it matters. It's how we behave. We're calling out things for one another. We champion one another. I mean, we got our pact. It's our promise, and it's our promise to customers, it's our promise to partners, and all stakeholders and our employees. And that's the P is possibility. So we look at what can we do? How can we do it? Not we can't, right? The A is accountability. That balances the other side. We got to make sure it makes sense. If there's no margin, there's no mission, and we got to make sure we're doing what we say we're going to do. And the C is championship, where we're lifting one another's up. True champions lift those around them on the field. And then T is trust. I mean, that wraps it all together. And so that really is our context at Mountain Leverage. And when we engage anyone, they should feel that. They should feel that environment. And that if you just kind of let that stuff go, it's so easy for a company to set apart, whether they're sitting in the same room or they're all across the world like we are.
But isn't it funny how many people say that you can't perpetuate a culture that's that cohesive when you're not in the same room together? And you're saying not true.
Alex proves them wrong. Getting results in 20 years doing this. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
You have to be smiling as people are saying remote, back to the office, pay.
I haven't been keeping receipts, but the amount of people who've told me you can't do this, you can't do that, and we were here 20 years later doing it, and I'm just, and we try not to be smug about it because it's a challenge, and it's not for the faint of heart, but it certainly can work.
I am so stoked that you made 10-minute Tech Talks part of your day. I hope you learned something new and valuable. And if you want to keep getting more business building, technology, and entrepreneurial insights, just subscribe. We're pushing out new interviews at least once per week. I hope to see you on the next one.